Hello, everybody. Welcome to another one of my build tours. This is, as you can read, my Nightmare on Elm Street Halloween Town build, just in time for the spooky holiday itself. And I am dressed up as Jack Skellington, you see, with a little cat edition because I gotta be me. So, anyway, as you can see, we are here. This is the house. This is the racetrack house, which a lot of people, a lot of builders out there are using because it is really the best sandbox house, but does not really the best, exterior for most houses because it's just this wild racetrack thing. And most people using it now are not building racetracks actually, although racetracks are still fun. Anyway, but so yeah, this is a movie that was very near and dear to my heart, as I know it's very near and dear to a lot of people's hearts. So I really want to take a stab at it. I got to thinking, when you first think about, okay, what was it, Nightmare Before Christmas, and what was the town like, and all you could do is remember bits and pieces of it. So, I had to set out to kind of find out what the components were. I found somebody who made a diorama of it online, but after a while, just start to improvise. As long as you get the important parts right, the town square, of course, the infamous hill, and a few things, then it'll come together. So anyway, without further ado, I'll take you inside, show you around, give you some tips about how I built it, and hope you enjoy. Let's get inside. Do, 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 do. All right, so here we are, and it is nighttime, which I think always looks the best here. This is Halloween Town. So you have the little gate here. Got a little trick or treat area for you to grab a donut or some water if you're feeling inclined. A little shameless self promotion over here. Still no blazing lion from the lure, but I'm hoping for it. I'll just close this chat. I don't mind streaming from a public server. You never know who's going to show up. That's kind of fun. One of the things I wanted to cover this entrance, which usually looks like the other racetrack, so I kind of made it a pumpkin out of burying some rings. I actually like the way it turned out. I think because remember from the movie where Jack goes in and out of Halloween Land through a kind of pumpkin doorway that's much smaller than this, but kind of made that theme. So I really like that. That's one of the first things we did, and I liked how it turned out. And so anyway, one of the things from Tim Burton movies in general, and especially this movie, is nothing is like, straight on. So one of the things they did, was make sure everything kind of tilted. So, this archway isn't just straight up and down blocks. It tilts a little bit. Of course, that creates its own little challenges when you're trying to line stuff up. But, you don't have to be perfect, like I said. Um, so come in here. We got a little grinding area. I learned something I never knew because I never used it. I put the Neanderthal piano here, and you can't actually play that. So I had to put a regular piano in for the Neanderthal player piano, which seems a little silly, but I just didn't. I didn't think of anything really I wanted to make a custom piano with. But this one looked a lot spookier than the regular piano. Um, so you see these walls kind of one of the things I play with is in Halloween Town everything is lumpy and not the normal brick here is really polished looking brick, but everything in Halloween Town is kind of lumpy, so I wanted to add a bit more texture to it, but that's really time consuming. Even for the walls, what I wanted doing was taking and making like a piece of wall here with some of the brick pattern and everything, and then cloning that and copying it and moving it, and kind of you'll see here that it kind of zigzags along. And so wanted just kind of assembling that out of little pieces here and there, and sometimes I think I flipped it, which is what's going on over here. Yeah, you see the yeah, let me go out here. Yeah, you see how the textures on this side. I thought about on both sides, but that's just. I think that was more than I could really bite off for that. So anyway, got the grinding area here. There's some good stuff added recently. I believe some of this stuff is from either this update or one of the earlier spooky updates. Green slime baths and here is this is where most of the action takes place in the movie. This is the Halloween town square, and so we got some things here that I kind of like looked in. There's this guillotine that was present. I see that in the movie and some of the other stuff, maps of kind of Halloween Town and what there is, and this fountain, which has a kind of like vomiting lizard dragon on it, which I tried to recreate. I couldn't really. I tried a number of things to get the water to come out green because normally in the movie it's puking this stuff that goes into here, which I did actually turn into a bath and you can bathe, but you can't color the water. I tried putting a potion in there. I tried putting a light in there. It just wasn't really happening. So you have to take what you can get. Is my graphics quality? Oh, yeah, it is. All right. So anyway, that was one piece that had to be in there. This is the town square, town hall thing, and again, I tried to play with this and make it very much so it wasn't just straight on columns. This columns go sort of off. I mean, the same kind of like thing you see in Beetlejuice or whatever, and very very classic in a lot of those kind of in his movies, and is that off-centered and the creepy kind of lights and doorways here. All the buildings you ever saw around there, including Jack's house, they ever had straight-on windows. They were always really odd-looking buildings around. So we're not going to do a spooky shuffle. If you'll notice, it is very much contained in. I didn't want the build too big. I already went bigger than I thought I would, and so this is just walls all around, giant scaled walls, just kind of black out. And I'm probably only using, if I went outside, you'd see I'm only using like a small fraction of the race course sandbox area, but it works. So here, the most iconic part of the Nightmare Before Christmas is the hill. I mean, it's just the minute you see that, you know what it is, and that was really a pain to build. Let me show you real quick, kind of how it looks. The infamous movie poster, I believe, has Jack here holding out a rose or something, and I played around with this a couple of times on like turning the light off and versus on. You kind of lose a little bit of detail when it's off, but the glow is really good. And I mean, this is and you can see here it did it was hard to kind of like make that buried in there without. This was actually a lamp, I think, or not a lamp. It was a ceiling, and it had some trim around it that looked funny. So then I had to use other, I think, archways to try to block out the trim, and it was almost possible to get it without some weird looking effect, but you hardly notice it. So the hill here, like I've said before, building anything with curves in Roblox is just a real test of patience, and you can see here how I did it. I mean, this is basically cylinders. So when you want to do this, you can build a cylinder, you clone it, and you move it a little bit out, and you shrink it a little bit, and maybe rotate it a little bit, and you just keep rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat all along here, cloning that until it is so small, and I think maybe use cone here at the very end. And that's kind of how you can get away with doing making kind of curved shapes like that. But it looks really good when you look at it from afar, and it definitely, I mean, it's instant, like I said, recognizable, and there's no mistaking what kind of build this is. Over here, another iconic thing is Zero, which was Jack Skellington's pet dog who had a grave and who waited for him in the graveyard while he was out. And so I recreated Zero's doghouse in the graveyard. Originally, I had a ghost wolf on here, but then and it didn't look too bad. But the new ghost dog that they just released with the Halloween update uh, looks just so much better. So I made a mega of that and threw him on there. This is I kind of made like I said, the layout of Halloween Town. There's no real good map of it, and so I thought, where did you go? You went through the woods, I think, to get to the graveyard. So there's kind of a path there. Um, I could have expanded it a little bit more, maybe make it a little thicker, but I think that went way okay. There's lots of graves here around. This adds these pumpkins have I think a floodlight in them. If I move this, I can probably show you, but that's it made good light because it was kind of dark in here. If when it gets nighttime, if you don't have some more light, it did get a little dark in here, and I think it's still dark when it's day. It gets a little brighter in here. You can't block out the sun completely, even with this black everywhere. It still gets a little lighter in here when it turns daytime in Adopt Me. And again, here are just some weird buildings kind of playing around with the different shapes. And looking at the movie and some images from there, they did have really weird kind of like space looking buildings, but in brick form. Another one I made kind of over here, which seems like very War of the Worlds. Again, another use of the cylinder kind of resizing and rotating and making these legs that kind of come into taper down into almost like a platform sort of thing. So, and again, these spikes, I think I put them in after I'd done the walls because I thought they looked good. But once I had like a set, I just cloned all these spikes and just started sticking them all along, and it really didn't take that long as opposed to having to do each spike individually. So anyway, let's see here. Is there anything I have not shown in here? It's not too big of a house. Oh, so it was no, it was daytime already. And now it's night. So yeah, when it turns night, I mean, it definitely looks better. I think the glow of the bath here, the glow of the windows, the you can see now the difference the pumpkin lights make in the area. These and it looks a little different up here with the. I think you maybe gain a little bit more definition in the hill when you're looking at directly at the light there. It doesn't wash out as much. So I think if I could make it in here night all the time, I probably would. But that's not up to me. So let's see. I think that is pretty much it. But uh, yep, that is my build tour. I hope you guys like it. I hope you guys, if anybody comes see it, that you enjoy it as much as I do. Because I honestly, I think I'm going to bring this back in Christmas and just decorate it for Christmas time because I really like it, this build. So anyway, if you have any questions or comments about it, or anything else you think could be added and improved, I would love to hear. I thought about trying to make a oogie boogie somewhere. Maybe that'll happen before Halloween, but I'm not sure. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.